Hey, it's Eric with Patch Foundry. Today we're going to walk through the Get Down Tonight patch for MainStage 3.7.1 or higher. It's part of the Coverbound Pack Volume 1 from Patch Foundry, or it's a standalone patch if you want, and there's a link to the description to both in the description. Now, before we start, this awesome MainStage concert that I'm using that took 6 years to build and is super stable, super CPU efficient. It's free with every single purchase. And there's a separate video I've linked in the description about exactly what it does. Second, this patch is not designed to sound like the original song. It's supposed to be inspired by it and built using 100% stock sounds in MainStage for keyboard players and cover bands. So with that in mind, let's get started. If I come down here, I've got my instrument channel strips, and I'll just walk through what we're using. We've got the clav. And if you noticed here, this, like I said before, it only uses samples, synths, and effects that are in MainStage already. We spent 7 years digging through MainStage to find these sounds. If you've ever used MainStage, you know that, like, for instance, this clav, you're not going to find that exact clav sound in here. We just had to tweak and tweak and tweak it in order to get it to where we wanted it. The advantage to using all stock plugins is there's nothing extra to install once you've installed MainStage. You open up the concert, it just works, it's stable, it's CPU efficient, there's so many advantages. So this patch is really, there's not like a ton to it. You've got the on the bottom, and then a little bit of organ. And these organs sound so good. Let me play it by yourself. And that's been EQ'd to match the clav by a professional sound mix engineer here in Nashville. You can control it with the expression pedal, or you can remap it to the mod wheel, your call. And that's it for the bottom board. Now, the only other thing we have here is some gig brass. That's in case you don't play with a brass player or brass section. You can cover that, the texture. So it's really not supposed to be a part. It's just supposed to kind of fill out some of the frequencies that brass does. So you got that in place, and that is everything that's on the bottom board. Now, we have a second board. It's an optional thing. You can play all the parts you need using just one keyboard. This optional part will give you another look or a little extra sprinkle type keyboard part for throughout the piece. In this case, we have two things here. We've got a clav. So kind of a phaser clav. I have my second keyboard over here, very unergonomically set up. And then we've got a light organ that's up an octave from that. So the organ by itself. Both of them together. And you get the idea. So that's all there. We also have brass you could turn on if you want to just carry the brass up above. Try to make it as flexible as possible while making choices at the same time. We tried to limit the choices you have to make. You can just focus on playing. Now, before I end, these patches are insanely CPU efficient. I'm running this on a 5-year-old M1 MacBook Pro, and MainStage is set to 128 samples at 48K. If you know anything about computers, that's very, very sprite, meaning you're not going to have latency, and it's pulling pretty hard on those CPUs. So take a look at the CPU meter when I play this. Even with recording audio and video on the same computer at the same time, I'm hitting what, 20-ish% on my CPU, and it's taking only 27 megabytes of RAM. To do this, it took so many years of research to figure out what the most CPU efficient plugins were, how to use them, how to put them in the right combination of order to get a pro world-class level sound like you just heard. But do it on a shoestring CPU budget. So I am enormously proud of the way that these patches turned out. If you want to know more about them, you can find them at patchfoundry.com or just check the description in the links. Thanks so much.